The only thing that matters is right now. This moment. This one spectacular moment we are sharing together.
Hi Saints, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I think in the last video that I did, I kind of told you guys that I would be eventually talking about the show BoJack Horseman. I recently finished it, and can I just say, I am not okay. If you guys don't know, BoJack Horseman is a Netflix original animated TV show about anthropomorphic animals and people as well. Their daily struggles, the trials and tribulations of being a celebrity, dealing with depression and a lot of mental issues as well as trauma. It kind of navigates adulthood, basically, what happens as we grow up, as we learn or as we don't learn, and the highs and lows of just living life as a human being. When I first started watching the show, I clicked it because there was a horse that looked like Future. There was a horse that looked like Future on the cover, so I clicked it and I was just like, oh, okay, let me get into it. It was kind of light at first, but then it slowly got deeper and deeper and very realistic to the point where I was looking at myself in the mirror like, oh my god, do the writers know me personally? I felt a lot of what these characters were going through, and I could sympathize with a lot of the characters. It was a very honest and true depiction, I think, of what happens when, you know, you're not perfect as a human being. And sometimes the highs are highs and the lows are very low. And we just have to navigate through them both. So I went into it like that. I did not expect to be so connected with these characters. I genuinely felt for them so much. I cared about these animated characters to the point where I was just like wholly consumed by their story and wishing them the best. And the final episode ends and I'm just like, oh, shoot, what the heck do I do now? So yeah, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts, get it off my chest, and find closure. This is a video about finding closure. So yeah, the very first character that we have is BoJack Horseman, and it's played by Will Arnett, which I didn't expect because he seems like more of a comedic type of person. And granted, BoJack Horseman's backstory is rooted in a lot of comedy, so he does stand up, he used to, so I could see like how that intermingled with his overall cynicism and the way he views life and how he, you know, kind of goes on about his day. But I did not expect to be impacted so much. His voice actor, Will Arnett, the way he's able to change his tone so quickly, I feel like voice acting need to be more recognized, appreciated more, because the depth that it has, really good. And so it's played by Will Arnett. BoJack Horseman, basically he had a 90s sitcom television show called Horsing Around where he was very popular during that time, and then now he's kind of fizzled out. At least when we first get introduced to him, we see that he's a celebrity who's not that relevant anymore, and he's just now getting his footing back into the industry and trying to basically rebrand in a way, but it takes 6 seasons 6 seasons and like years for him to actually come to a point where you could stably say that he is a changed person. The thing about BoJack Horseman is, even during his worst times, during his worst deeds, the worst things you could possibly think of, this horse has done.
I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good.
Even during those moments, I still cared about him. I still wished the best for him. And I think that's why this show is so endearing to me, because we all know someone in real life who isn't perfect and who struggles a lot and who may or may not be the best person, but you see so much in terms of their potential and what they can be and how they themselves can repent and become better and find joy. And I think that's what made me care so much in general about these characters. So Really appreciated that. Dianne Wiest, played by Alison Brie. First of all, Alison Brie is very beautiful, but Dianne Wiest, I appreciate her. She's like my inner feminist voice, but I appreciate the fact that she's multifaceted. She comes into the show as BoJack Horseman's writer, ghostwriter. She's going to write his memoir, and that's how we start to get to know BoJack Horseman and a lot of the stuff that he went through in his childhood and just his overall history. And Dianne, she's a strong voice of reason in the show. She always advocates for these characters to do the right thing, and she's feminist through and through. But I appreciate the fact that she goes through her own changes, and even the things that make her amazing and a great character also showcases her flaws. She is very flawed as well. She's not perfect. She's not like just one thing. None of these characters are just one thing. So I really appreciated her character.
I think there are people that help you become the person that you end up being, and you can be grateful for them, even if they were never meant to be in your life forever. I'm glad I knew you too. That sounds awful.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Life's a bitch and then you die, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living.
Yeah.
During season 6, she goes through this huge change, and it's just so fascinating to watch how the writers kind of the way they made it play out in the show, because it could have gone various ways, but the way they took care and gave almost credence to her character and what she stands for, I think was really amazing. We have Todd Chavez, played by Aaron Paul. First of all, let me just say, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, I love him so much. So this was like fucking double homicide.
Yeah, double homicide. Bitch.
Sorry,
No, I'm sorry.
When this show ended, and when Breaking Bad ended, and it was played by the same guy that was in that show, my heart broke. Todd Chavez's character is basically, he's a very free, fun-loving, kind of dumb, but also very smart guy. He goes on all of these wacky schemes and adventures, and his character is basically, it's a real sitcom type of character where you're not entirely sure what he might be up to. I appreciate the fact that he goes through his own changes, but at the end of the day, his core values of just being who he is very interesting, because he doesn't change at the end, like change completely.
But isn't the point of art less what people put into it and more what people get out of it?
Is that the point of art?
Maybe. Or maybe art doesn't need a point. Maybe that's why it's called art.
I can't tell if you're being smart or stupid.
Oh, I never know.
I think you had it for a moment and then you lost it.
Oh, well. It was nice while it lasted, right?
And I appreciate that, because you don't have to do a full 180 for you to be a better person. You don't have to change everything that makes you who you are to be a better person. I don't think that's realistic. And I appreciate the fact that the writers addressed that the reason why, it's so subtle, but the reason why he's able to get away with a lot of the crazy things he does is because he's a white character, even though his last name is Chavez. But it's a whole subplot that you probably see around season 5, season 6. It's very interesting. There's this one part in the show where they kind of address his sexuality, and I'm not going to reveal too much, but it was a very interesting avenue that they chose to take on it, and I really appreciated that. There's Princess Carolyn, played by Amy Sedaris. Ooh, I've never heard of her before, but Princess Carolyn is a cat. I love me some Princess Carolyn. If I had her as a friend, I feel like I would be on top of the world. I would feel like I can accomplish anything.
You gotta get your shit together. So you took some licks, but you're gonna bounce back. Because you're talented, you're smart, and damn it, you're good. You are a goddamn American treasure, you know that?
Let me drink some going. Princess Carolyn to me embodies everything that makes a person like just hardworking. She's so talented. She's very independent. One of the things that make her such a great character, in my opinion, is that her passion never dies down. Even when she's subjected to like traditional things like having a kid and getting married and stuff like that, like even when she goes through the, you know, traditional avenues that people tend to think will strip them of some of the cool things like being independent and stuff like that, even when she goes through that, she's still very much Princess Carolyn. She still will find a way to make it happen. I really liked her character, and BoJack Horseman is very lucky to have had her by his side throughout it all. And of course, she goes through her own problems, roadblocks, because of the type of person she is. I like that. I like the dynamics, that even the things that make us so cool, so amazing, so yeah, can really hinder us in some situations. Paul F. Tompkins, who plays Mr. Peanut Butter. I love Mr. Peanut Butter. He is a happy golden retriever, I don't know, through and through. His character is just very fun-loving. And it's not quite like Todd, who's a little bit ignorant, but he's just a happy guy. That's his entire character. He's a very happy guy. But in terms of everything else, like how heavy the show is, I'm kind of happy that they have that type of character to bring like a very chill atmosphere.
Excuse me. It's just, I'm so overwhelmed. This is the best day.
Oh, God. Oh.
He loves BoJack Horseman. He loves everybody that he's with. He wishes the best, and he's genuinely a great person. It's not one of those characters where, oh my God, as the seasons go by, you start seeing that they have a little bit of nefarious characteristics about them, little, you know, traits that may be a little bit iffy. No, he's just a genuinely nice person. He goes through his own developments as well, but I think at the end of the day, he maintained that pure fun-loving energy. So I really liked his character. There's a lot of other characters that I don't know if I want to get into, like Sarah Lynn and BoJack Horseman's mom and dad. There's a lot of characters that I really love. I'm so happy that I stuck through, that I actually checked it out. I don't know. I feel like BoJack Horseman deserves the same type of hype. Although I do know it has a relatively cult following now, I feel like it deserves the same type of hype as Rick and Morty. The depth and nuances that fans tend to think Rick and Morty have, BoJack Horseman has times 10. And I'm saying this as a person who's a fan of both shows. So yeah, I really appreciate this show. It really made me feel very seen, and I just, at the end of the day, the ending made me feel like it's okay. And even when it's not, it's okay to not be okay as well. I haven't checked out Horsing Around, which I think is like a spin-off of that show. I haven't checked it out yet, but I just wanted to say that I really love the show. If you guys ever have the time, please check it out. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you're having an amazing day, evening, or night, wherever you are. I hope the vibes are good. Bye, guys.
That's not true. I can express feelings. Nothing on the outside, nothing on the inside. I feel like I was born with a leak, and any goodness I started with just slowly spilled out of me, and now it's all gone, and I'll never get it back in me. It's too late. Life is a series of closing doors, isn't it?